Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while since I've recorded something. It's been a while since my content has been up. I wanted to make this because this list means a lot to me. I started making content about 7 years ago, and since then, I've taken a few breaks. Mainly because I got kind of tired of doing the same movie review stuff. Then 2020 hit, so there was no movies. And so that's when I kind of stopped making movie reviews. And that always kind of like left a little thing, there was like pit in me. And there's something missing. And I wanted to kind of lay off and stop, but I didn't want my channel and the content I made to just die quietly. So what I'm doing is a list of my top favorite 100 movies of all time. I figured I've always wanted to do a legitimate top 10, and why not go a little bit bigger to kind of send off my channel. Now, it's not going to be permanent necessarily. It's not like I'm never going to make anything again. It's just, this is going to kind of flush out the basement and get this kind of off. I've had a blast making this list and now starting this new journey. It's going to be a 12-part series. The videos won't be super long. It's not just a list of blah 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 blah. Here's the videos and stuff. It's gonna be fun. I got into this by just wanting to do a top 10 list, and then I thought maybe top 50, and I said, you know what? Let's just make it a full top 100. So basically, how I'm gonna be doing this, I went to IMDb. I just put in the top 500 movies of all time, and then I realized that there's a lot of movies from the 80s and 70s and 60s that are on that list that I've never seen. And I was like, holy crap, I gotta scale this back. So I found 1975. There's a few movies before that are actually on this list. There's a couple. But 1975 is really when that cutoff just stops, and there's no movies that I would really put on that list, on this list of mine. So I looked up, I put in, I've probably seen upwards of about 400 movies, which is pretty crazy. I'd be wondering to what the average is, but mine is around 400. So I just started crossing off movies that I've only seen once, or that I've maybe not actually watched but seen. And then cutting off movies that I felt were not going to be on my list. So then I just got it down to, and I got it down to about 130 movies, and I just started breaking them up into my C tier, my B tier, my A tier. The A tier being, these are my top 20 movies of all time. I already know. Then my C tier being of these movies I love, because I love all of these films on this list. These are the ones that I know aren't the top. These are just it's weird. It's kind of a weird way to break it down. Then I took the big chunk in the middle, and I just started going through and ranking them and putting them in order, and I had a blast doing it. I found out a lot about myself because I actually put down the genre, the rating, the MPAA rating, the IMDb score, the directors, and the director and the key actors in it. And then I just started finding correlations of what some of my favorite movies are. Apparently I really love action drama, adventure, and action crime dramas and crime thrillers. There's a lot of movies that I found to be kind of shocking where they kind of sit together. And so that's kind of the point of this list, is I want to share it with you, and maybe you can go as far yourself as to make your own list and find out what you actually really love in movies, and what you might be surprised, because I certainly was. So without kind of jabbering anymore, I'm going to get into my list here. I'm going to drop one today, just because I feel like there's a lot that I had to kind of explain to get into this. So I know it's kind of blah, 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 but I'm going to go give you my number 100 movie on the list, 100 of all time. It is Django Unchained. And I know for some people are going to be like, that's number 100? That's an amazing film. When you start breaking down your movies, you realize that 100 really isn't that much in the grand aspect of I've seen 400 movies. The top 1/4 of them, some of them have to go. Some of them got to, I had number 100 as different movies, and then I just kept kind of moving things around, and this one settled at number 100. And I think it's due to the fact that I've only seen it a few times. I haven't seen it a ton. It's one of those movies that I loved right away because I loved Quentin Tarantino. If I had a top 250 films of all time, probably every one of his movies would be on this list. This is number 1 of 4 of his movies that are on the list. This is the first time Leonardo DiCaprio appears on the list at 100. And spoiler, he's going to be on there a lot more. Something I've also noticed. Django Unchained could also be switched out with a couple other ones. Like, it's kind of interchangeable, but I don't love it as much as some of the other ones. And then when you start moving movies up and down on a list, you're like, oh crap, where do I put this? I like it a lot because it's actually based on a true person, which is crazy. Bass Reeves was a guy born in the mid 1800s that bought his freedom, and he actually arrested 3,000 criminals, and he killed 14 men without being shot once, which is just on hardcore. A 14 KD is pretty good. You want to squat up, bro? There's a whole lot to that man, and it's amazing. I'm not going to get into it here, but I think you should look it up. If you didn't know that, I don't know if a lot of people did know that it was like loosely based off of a true character, but it's simply just an amazing Tarantino film. I know majority of you love this movie, and I'd be curious to see where you rank it versus ones like Pulp Fiction, and there's like Death Proof, and some of these, some of the movies aren't going to be on the list, but some of them are. It's hard to like kind of narrow them down, and like I said, actually the movie that was on number 100 that I originally set out to start with was The Green Mile. And the reason I swapped it out was because I've only seen both of these movies I've only seen a very small handful of times, like probably 2-3 times, not many. And it's kind of a sin. It feels like a sin. I feel like I should watch more of it. I just wanted to start off today with just one, just to show you kind of how it's going to go. It's not going to be a 100-to-1 list because let's face it, that would be tedious. It would be boring. People would tune out when we got between 80 and 20. I know I would watch a list somebody made and be like, okay, I don't really care about the middle, but I want people to care about the middle movies. And so I looked and saw similarities and things that kind of meshed and went with each other, and I kind of ran with that, and that really helped to curate the list. And I put these videos together in a pretty good way. Like I said, there'll be 12. This is part 1 of 12, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in the next video of my top 100 movies of all time, part 2. See you later. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I would have just shit my pants. Oh man, I thought I just deleted the recording. Woo!